Jiren pales in comparison to Freeza. There are many reasons for this. Firstly, we'll talk about Freeza and his impact within Dragon Ball Z specifically. I'll be talking about Z specifically for Freeza because Super altered too much of his character, in which I fully explained in a prior video that I will link above. Freeza began on Namek with Namekian corpses laying in front of him as he gathers the Dragon Balls. A threatening presence that even the narrator will mention that Vegeta wouldn't go near. A great presence of fear and power. Freeza interrogates the Elder Namek and then ruthlessly has him executed for not giving him information about the location of the next Dragon Ball. Freeza then executes a Namekian child, showing us even children don't matter to him and are just obstacles, which is what Goku later calls him out for, to the extent Gohan has had enough and saves a second Namekian child from being killed, named Dinde. This leads Freeza to send out his left-hand man Dodoria, who does not return from his task. Eventually, Freeza sends out his right-hand man Zarbon to interrogate Vegeta, since he was the one who ended Dodoria prior, and in the meantime he calls for the Ginyu Force as he realizes the situation has become messy on Namek, and Freeza does not tolerate failure. After the Dragon Balls are stolen by Vegeta, and Zarbon is defeated, Freeza immediately orders the Ginyu Force to retrieve the Dragon Balls for him, in which it is performed quickly by Ginyu, who then brings all 7 balls to Freeza. Unable to use them to grant his wish, Freeza decides it's time for himself to deal with the situation and heads to Guru himself, arriving and threatening the old man, in which Nail, a Namekian warrior, distracts Freeza so that the Dragon Balls could be used without his knowledge, eventually leading them to be activated by Gohan, Krillin and Dinde, leading Freeza to head immediately to the location of the dragon, where he discovers the Dragon Balls are inactive and realizes his hopes of immortality are gone forever. Freeza decides to make the Z Fighters suffer for what they did. He attacks Vegeta, but Vegeta is able to fend off his attack, forcing Freeza to transform into his second unrestrained form. In this form, Freeza is a monster and destroys the island with a mere hand gesture, after which he impales Krillin and tortures him mercilessly, tossing him into the water to drown, leading Gohan to interfere and knocks him back with an amazing display of power. However, Freeza gets up from that attack and attacks Gohan brutally, beating him up and almost cracking his skull, until Krillin jumps back into the action and cuts off Freeza's tail, leading him to be confused and attack Krillin, in which Krillin blinds him with a solar flare and heads back to the group. There, Freeza decides to kill them all before Piccolo shows up, who stands face to face with Freeza, and they begin exchanging blows with Piccolo gaining the upper hand due to fusing with Nail, whom Freeza had fought prior. Piccolo reveals he has more strength he's hidden, and thus it makes Freeza realize it's time to transform again, announcing he has 2 more to strike terror and fear into the Z Fighters. Freeza becomes his third form, with overwhelming power, and dodges Piccolo's attacks, attacking him with a crazy finger death beam, shredding Piccolo to pieces. This leads Gohan to attack Freeza and knock him to the ground, leading Freeza to recognize that Gohan is a Saiyan, so he decides to end it all by becoming his final and greatest transformation. Meanwhile, Vegeta lets Krillin attack him so that he can achieve a great Zenkai boost that will allow him to defeat Freeza. Dinde heals Piccolo and Freeza, witnesses the whole event, identifying Dinde is the reason that they can heal and keep fighting. After Dinde heals Vegeta, Freeza completes his transformation and shocks the fighters with his final form of pure terror. Immediately, Freeza dispatches of Dinde with a quick and swift death beam, shocking the Z Fighters as they couldn't even see the attack. However, Vegeta could. Due to his new boost in attack, he was now able to see Frieza's attacks and believes himself to be a Super Saiyan. Frieza mocks him and pushes him over the edge until he realizes he isn't a Super Saiyan and gets humiliated physically and mentally, while Frieza terrifies the Z Fighters. That's when Goku arrives, and Frieza then kills Vegeta for believing Goku to be the next Super Saiyan, and gets informed by Vegeta that Frieza destroyed the planet. Vegeta, the mighty clash between Goku and Frieza shook the planet itself, with both using their best strategies against each other to get the upper hand on each other. Goku lands a solid blow on Frieza, sending him flying into a mountain, but Frieza gets back up like it was nothing, and decides he will fight Goku without using his hands, in which he pulls up an excellent display of power by slapping Goku with his tail and kicking him away with his feet. Eventually, Goku manages to grab Frieza's tail and bite it hard, allowing him to get the upper hand and forcing Frieza to use his hands. Realizing he's dealing with something extraordinary, Frieza suggests to Goku to join his forces before deciding to crush him. Of course, Goku declines. Frieza then uses 50% of his maximum power, crushing Goku easily without Goku being able to even land an attack on Frieza. Desperate, Goku uses the Kaioken times 20 Kamehameha on Frieza, but it does nothing to him except char his hand. Frieza, now ticked off, attacks Goku and beats him mercilessly without giving him a chance. Goku realizes he'll need to use the Spirit Bomb, in which he does, and buying just enough time by having Piccolo, Gohan and Krillin distract Frieza long enough for the Spirit Bomb to finish him. After the gang rests, they are suddenly surprised that Frieza has survived. Striking fear into their hearts, Frieza aims a death beam at Goku, but Piccolo jumps in and takes the attack, almost killing him. Goku realizes the situation is incredibly dangerous and informs Gohan and Krillin to get out of there immediately. However, Frieza's having none of it as he targets Krillin and raises him to the sky, and with a simple hand gesture implodes Krillin in front of Goku's eyes, laughing and saying he will go after Gohan. Goku, enraged, snaps and transforms into the legendary Super Saiyan. Frieza, unaware of what happened, aims at Gohan to kill him, and immediately Goku appears before Frieza, without Frieza even seeing him, crushing his hand and forcing him to kneel before him. Frieza retreats. Goku lunges at Frieza and kicks him away before snapping his back and smashing him into the ground. Freeza tries to counterattack but to no avail, so he attempts firing death beams at Goku and Goku easily dodges the attacks, leading Freeza to get angry. Goku lets him attack him only for a second death beam to do nothing to Goku. Frieza is shaken with fear, demanding to know who is Goku. Goku tells him that he is the Super Saiyan of legend. Realizing there's nothing he can do, Frieza prepares a powerful attack and throws it at Namek, but fails, destroying it due to being afraid he'd get caught in the explosion. Despite this, Frieza turns the situation around to challenge Goku at his best, in which Goku agrees, and Frieza powers to his maximum, in which then both go head to head in an ongoing battle. In the midst of this, King Kai gathers the Dragon Balls and restores the Namekians back to life, restoring Porunga. Frieza, knocking Goku into the rocks, believes he's won the battle and is about to leave the planet, so he doesn't sustain any more damage when Goku appears, and while the two clash head to head, Dinde is summoned by Guru to use Porunga, in which Frieza sees this and heads directly to Porunga and demands his wish. However, since he's never spoken the Namekian language, the dragon answers only to Dinde and instead sends everyone to Earth except for Goku and Frieza. Goku explains to Frieza everything that happened, then Goku and Frieza decide to have a hand-to-hand battle on Namek alone, and the two beat each other out until Goku gets the upper hand and gives up, telling Frieza he needs to learn new moves to beat him, tearing his pride to shreds. Frieza, not accepting this, throws a disc at Goku to kill him and he misses. He tries another one and Goku flies in his direction, making Frieza jump over them and get knocked into the ground, only for when he jumps up to get cut into two halves. He begs Goku for energy and Goku gives him. Frieza then taunts Goku, telling him his spaceship is gone due to Vegeta destroying it, and laughing because Goku will die and Frieza will live forever. However, Goku ignores him and flies off, leading Frieza to rage and attempt to attack him, only for Goku to unleash an angry Kamehameha, destroying Frieza entirely. Frieza then, a year later, returns as Mecha Frieza and frightens all the Z fighters, but he himself gets frightened when he encounters a Super Saiyan Trunks, remembers his battle on Namek, leading to his downfall at the hand of Trunks. Frieza was a remarkable villain in Z, constantly forcing our characters on the edge, either from his henchmen or elite force, or even himself, managing to kill the entire Namekian race, Vegeta, Dinde, and Krillin, a true force to be reckoned with each form being further and further into the depths of evil Frieza is capable of, a remarkable villain of the series that defined Dragon Ball forever. Now, let's talk about Jiren the Grey. Jiren was introduced in the Tournament Power as part of Universe 11 and is announced and introduced by all as the strongest fighter in Tournament Power. So powerful and strong, it's said that he surpassed Belmod, his god of destruction. While Tournament Power occurs, Jiren decides to lay low and not fight. After a while, Goku challenges him and throws a Spirit Bomb at him, unable to phase him. However, Jiren deflects the bomb back at Goku, and since Goku is the cause of the tournament, the bomb latches onto him, and he then becomes Ultra Instinct Omen and fights Jiren on equal ground before reverting back to base. Later on, Jiren encounters Hit, Universe 6's assassin and top fighter. Hit traps Jiren in a time barrier, preventing him from escaping. However, Jiren uses some of his power and breaks out the prison, eliminating Hit easily in the process. Then, later on in the tournament, while Goku fights the Universe 6 Saiyans Kale and Caulifla, Kale gets angry at Goku and becomes the legendary Super Saiyan of her universe, forcing Goku into Super Saiyan God. While unable to defend himself, this leads Jiren to step in and incapacitate her, putting her down for a while. Later on, Magikayo, a blue slime creature that can shift into anything, wraps himself around Jiren and gets eliminated instantly by him. Jiren realizes that Universe 7 should not be underestimated and thus begins fighting Goku, Vegeta, and 17. Vegeta, tired from his explosion against Toppo, fights Jiren but to no avail and gets eliminated. Belmont then explains why Jiren is so powerful. Jiren was raised by a martial arts master that took care of him, only for his master to get killed by a powerful individual, making it impossible for Jiren to save his master. With pure anger and rage, Jiren determines that he will be the strongest, so no one he ever cares about ever dies again, and so that he can save them. Goku fights Jiren as Ultra Instinct Omen, and just before he's about to run out of the form and lose, Vegeta gives him his energy. Goku hears the cries of his teammates, transforming him into mastered Ultra Instinct, able to knock back Jiren effortlessly. Jiren increases in anger and strength to fight Goku, but to no avail. MUI is far too powerful and is even confirmed by Beerus, as well as all the other gods of destructions, standing up to honor the mastery of the transformation / technique. Jiren then uses his full power mode, but is still unable to touch Goku, and with pure anger attacks the stage where his friends are, which angers Goku even more and beats down Jiren for his actions. And just before he is eliminated, Goku gets a shock and collapses unconscious. The strain on his body from the transformation was too much, and Jiren remains down and depressed as he failed his team. Frieza, who was in his golden state, mocks Jiren and says it's the end for you. What a pathetic end it is. Before Frieza eliminates Jiren, Toppo calls out Jiren and tells him not to give up, that they are all his friends and trust in him. This allows Jiren to get up and overpower Frieza with little ease. 17 jumps in and Jiren starts tackling both of the fighters with ease. He attacks with a full powered blast in which Frieza tries to defend it, and 17 jumps in to help him prevent the attack, but 17's shield is cracking when Goku jumps in and tells Frieza he has to try his hardest for Universe 7 to win. Frieza yells and says he'll only do so if Goku honors reviving him. Goku says he will. Immediately 17 starts firing Ki Blast at Jiren, while Goku and Frieza attack him from the sides. Frieza yells at Goku to throw him, in which he lunges Jiren, sending him out of the ring, but Jiren is too powerful and is able to push back Frieza until Goku comes flying in and helps Frieza eliminate Jiren. Jiren realizes that through trusting each other, that's how Universe 7 gets its strength. As he looks at his teammates, they thank him for his efforts, and Jiren realizes he was wrong about might equals right, and is contempt as he gets eliminated, and then Goku uses Dragon Balls and brings them all back, in which Jiren reflects on Goku as a fighter and who he was as a challenge, and for changing his perspective, giving us some good development for Jiren. Overall, Jiren was a major threat for the Torrent Power that, if not defeated, would have led to disastrous results to the multiverse, and is a fighter that surpassed his own God of Destruction, as well as being able to effortlessly stop Ultra Instinct Omen Goku, demonstrating his utter and sheer power to the extent he can't even be trapped in time and can break out. But as cool as Jiren was through his fights and feats, his character is sorely lacking, giving us very little to care about him or his influence to the story, as well as the tournament. Now, why did Jiren fail and Freeza succeed? The amount of little development Jiren gets at the end of the Torrent Power isn't enough to make us care compared with Freeza. We know how dangerous of a threat he was, and his character who decided power control over everyone. Unlike Jiren, who was given very little development in his arc. Comparing both designs to each other, we can say much more about Freeza than Jiren, and how he fights. The red eye shows us Frieza's evil, and the tail also shows us that Freeza will use it in combat. And finally, the stance is that of utter pride and arrogance. Truly a fantastic design. However, from Jiren, we can only see that he has lots of muscles, indicating he's strong, and his clothes show us that he's some sort of hero, but it's very basic and bare bones, and gives us barely anything. Now, let's compare how both personalities are. We get to see Freeza drinking wine, indicating his status, as well as not tolerating failure by destroying his henchman who do, showing his wrathful persona, doing everything he can to obtain the Dragon Balls and wish for immortality, by sending his Ginyu Force in, and then himself. However, with Jiren, we get to know nothing about him, only that he's the strongest, which isn't enough. He doesn't even talk, making us not care or show any interest in Jiren, as there's nothing there compared to Freeza, who's filled with character throughout the arc, showing us his evil and cruelty. And then, even with the little background story of Jiren we are given by Belmont, very little and not expanded upon, making Jiren the Grey very boring. Unlike when Goku is Super Saiyan, we enjoy every punch and kick he lands on Freeza, due to the atrocities he committed, killing the Namekian race, killing Vegeta, killing Dinde, and killing Krillin. It's a satisfying beatdown because we know we both sides represent and stand for. However, with Jiren, we barely know anything about him, so when MUI Goku beats him down, it makes us feel nothing. We know nothing about Jiren. It looks cool, but it's not enough to be enjoyable. We need more to give us something in this fight. Jiren attacking Goku's friends is also last second and meaningless, as it was not established prior, and it's just Jiren being a giant soul loser who can't handle losing. The only great scene we get from Jiren is when he's down and he gets cheered by Toppo to continue fighting, in which he does, but it's not sufficient and Jiren still loses. Like I said in a prior video, the reason Goku Freeza on Namek is as remarkable as it was is because Freeza led to his own destruction, constantly spared Goku and the Z fighters, and keeps sparing on the fight until he's defeated, instead of killing them on the spot or destroying the planet, which is due to Freeza having absolute pride and faith in his power, which only leads to his own end at his very own hands that he's constantly used to try and kill Goku, while Jiren lost due not to caring until the very end, in which he did, and still lost because Goku, Freeza and 17 worked as a team to eliminate him. In conclusion, Jiren fails due to his lack of character development, basic character design, and lack of personality, making him very boring. While he provided a really cool fight against Universe 7 and MUI, he's still nothing more than a blank slate, to the extent that you could replace Jiren with a literal plank of wood and nothing would change. However, Freeza is a great success, having ties with Goku in the Saiyan race from the very beginning, by killing his race and his father, leading Goku to grow up and fight him decades later to avenge everything Freeza committed, leading to one of the best and arguably the best fight in the whole of anime, and defeating the ultimate evil that has plagued the universe for decades. Thank you for watching.